Welcome back to East West Brothers Garage and our continued series with the 2025 Polestar 3. Today we're going to continue our exploration of the car by looking at the car's interior and some of the technology that really makes the car that great blend of performance and luxury. The interior of this car is very spacious. It's got tons of room for you to stretch out in, and it blends that great quality of having luxury materials that feel great no matter where you touch. There's lots of leg and headroom, regardless of if you're in the front or the rear seat. And there's good shoulder room because of how wide the car is, making it easy for three people to sit abreast in that rear seat. At a very average 5'10" with a long torso, I'm really comfortable in the front seat, which has tons of adjustment. In the back seat, I'm very much able to sit comfortably behind my driving position. I'm even able to fully cross and uncross my legs without hitting the back of the front seat. Now, as I mentioned, one of the reasons that I switched from the Polestar 2 to the Polestar 3 was because I regretted not getting the Nappa leather seats in my Polestar 2. And with the Nappa seats in the Polestar 3, I definitely made the right choice. The seats are incredibly soft, comfortable, and supportive, and they come with both the ventilated seats as well as the massage function. The massaging seats use real rollers and not air bladders, so you get a really good deep massage that's really nice and feels great when you're on a long drive. And those ventilated seats, I find that it's really useful to be able to use them in conjunction with the heated seats. Sometimes you just want to be able to have some of that warm air circulate around, and the ventilated seating helps to make sure that you're able to get that warm air all up and down your back and across the entire seat cushion. Now, I really love the memory seats and the memory mirrors, and for me, they've generally worked great. I know some folks have really struggled with this function because of how it ties into the car's various profiles, and also sometimes for folks, it's not changing or transitioning when you switch profiles. I'm fortunate to be the primary driver, but for me, the profiles have always worked. Now, on some early versions of the software, it seemed that there were issues powering up the seats. So if you got in the car and started messing with the seats before the car fully powered up, then sometimes the profiles wouldn't change properly, or the seats wouldn't power up and you wouldn't be able to actually get the seat positions to change. It seems that the car's experience is not consistent for everyone, but at least for me, it's worked great. But your mileage may vary. And despite the fact that the car is not really marketed as a super family-friendly vehicle, it does have plenty of spaces to store stuff, tons of storage space in the doors and center console, and the glove box is quite large and you're able to store quite a bit of stuff inside of that glove box. I do hate, however, that that glove box does use an electronic release that can only be accessed on the screen. I do wish it had a mechanical handle that would allow for much easier access. One of the things that I don't like is this wireless charger that's in the center console. It works well enough, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that Polestar designed it with a steep enough angle to properly hold phones in when you are doing a bit of spirited driving. And I've had my phone come flying out of the charger on numerous occasions. Lastly, regarding the interior, I love the fact that this car has a full-length glass roof. I know that for a lot of folks, they're concerned about it contributing to excess heat, and even though living in Southern California, I've not really found that to be as big a problem as folks might think. In fact, I oftentimes am able to get into the car and turn on the AC and within minutes have it be very comfortable. I find that the glass roof really opens up the interior, makes it feel much more spacious and much more comfortable. Now, as we transition to some of the technology side, one of the things that I want to point out regarding this car is that the door handles are really cleverly designed, both inside and out. They're two-stage door handles where the first stop is an electric release and the second stop is a full mechanical activation. So that first stop allows you with a soft touch to be able to open the door. This means that even in the most dire of situations, if you pull up fully on the door handle, then it will open from either the inside or the outside. Plus, the outside door handles are fully retractable, so they give the car a very aerodynamic profile. It kind of gives you the best of both worlds and doesn't run into some of the primary problems that we see with Tesla door handles that have an electronic release in one place and then the mechanical latch release somewhere else. Now, one of my favorite technology features in this car is the head-up display. It's a full color head-up display, but it's very much underutilized at this point. Still, it's helpful to have, it's bright and easy to read. It does a great job of displaying important and relevant information without overwhelming the driver. And for right now, even though it's, again, significantly underutilized in terms of its capabilities, I love having it available because I find it very helpful in keeping my eyes up on the road. Now, these days, cars are expected to deliver a comprehensive set of self-driving capabilities in order to be competitive, and this car is no different. So this Polestar 3 delivers with a strong suite of adaptive cruise and lane centering capabilities that make up its ADAS functionality. I use the ADAS systems quite frequently. I do a lot of driving in LA traffic, which means that I spend a lot of time sitting in congestion behind bumper-to-bumper traffic with other cars. And so I find it really easy to use and rely on the pilot assist system to help manage that. It's relatively smooth in its acceleration and braking, and the lane centering, while it can be a touch jerky sometimes, if you allow it to do its thing, it actually becomes very comfortable and it's very able to remain well centered within the lane. It offers some great visualizations on the driver display, which then shows you what's going on around you. But the driver attention camera goes off rather constantly and it drives me nuts. One thing that I do wish was a little bit better designed is the steering wheel capacitive sensor because it's not sensitive enough. Oftentimes, I find that even though I'm holding the wheel, if I hold it in the same place for too long, the car still thinks that I'm not making contact with the wheel, even though I do have my full hand on it, or even I'm holding it just by a few fingers. The capacitive sensor just doesn't do a good enough job of detecting the presence of the driver holding the wheel. And while this car is not a fully self-driving vehicle, it is able to comfortably drive itself on the highway, maintaining the right line and going around curves. The car is equipped with curve speed assist, which is able to reduce the speed slightly in order to allow you to safely navigate curves. But I do find that oftentimes it scrubs a little too much speed. But nonetheless, I find that I'm very comfortable with the system and allow myself to be oftentimes mostly hands-off, monitoring for that warning that pops up every 15 to 30 seconds. I've also had occasion to use the system in the rain, and honestly, it works well enough. Oftentimes, in heavy rain, it's better able to make out the lane lines than I am, which means I'm able to rely on it to help me stay within my lane, even when the rain is pounding so hard that I can barely see out the windshield. Let me be clear, this is definitely not as good as a Super Cruise or Blue Cruise system, but does still do a fantastic job of alleviating a lot of stress when driving for long periods in dense traffic. And with that, I hope this was helpful today in giving you a little bit more insight into the Polestar 3. Please help us to continue to grow this channel by liking and subscribing to our videos. Hit the bell icon to get notified when we release new videos. and we try to create content that isn't solely about cars. You'll start to see videos about motorcycles as well as mountain biking and other things that we do because we love all things with wheels. Thanks again for joining us at East West Brothers Garage, and we'll see you next time.